Let's go!
So is DMC dead now? Chat, what if I told you my theory about Itsuno leaving Capcom? That the reason Itsuno left Capcom was because they wanted him to do DMC6. What if I told you my thought process behind that was that his desires over the past 10 years of game dev have been kind of specific? He had this idea for Dragon's Dogma. He made Devil May Cry 4. Devil May Cry 4 was a mixed bag of reception, right? Also was a limited budget game, limited time constraint game, but was also half a game. DMC4, probably not the game that he wanted it to be, but ended up doing just fine. He then makes Dragon's Dogma, does fine in the long run, but is clearly not the game he wants to make. Flash forward to Devil May Cry 5. Oh, it's like the best Devil May Cry, almost, in many ways. It's amazing. You can do more things than ever. It's awesome. You don't have to like literally go back and then play the game back again and do this shit. You know, oh wow, this is great. Characters are amazing. It's so good. You did it, Itsuno. You made the Devil May Cry game. And then Dragon's Dogma 2 comes out 5 years later or some shit. And what does Itsuno do? Itsuno-san, you did it. You fully realized Dragon's Dogma 1. You were limited by hardware and technology, and obviously a shit-ass Capcom at the time frame. And all of a sudden, Dragon's Dogma 2 just slams and smacks in the ways that it always should have. It is not for everybody. It's not for me. But that is the game. That was the game you wanted to make. You did it, Itsuno. You fixed all of the problems you had from those mid-2000s level Capcom where there was a bunch of issues every once in a while. You did it. All your games that got fucked up, you fixed it. You fixed DMC2 with DMC3, you fixed DMC4 with DMC5, and you fixed DD1 with DD2. That's crazy. Very few devs ever get the opportunity to do that. So Itsuno, I got a question. You want to make Devil May Cry 6? Until you're 60 or maybe 65? Dude's probably like, I'm gonna go make games somewhere else. That's my guess, dude. My guess is that Itsuno probably did not want to do another 5 to 6 year or 4 to 6 year dev cycle for a new Devil May Cry. Probably didn't want to do that. And he literally isn't like, I am done with game development. No, no, no. He's talking about doing his own thing. He's talking about like making games somewhere else. I'm assuming he's probably going to make something else in a completely different place outside of the stuff that Capcom clearly wants him to make. As an artist, you would want to die. Exactly. And he's clearly an artist. Itsuno is one of the very few Capcom developers that did not take the executive paycheck. He had the opportunity to move up the Capcom ladder, as most directors and developers do when things go well. They had the opportunity to move up the Capcom ladder and then all of a sudden be put on like an executive branch in some way. He declined that shit. He wanted to stay a developer. So to me, only doing the same two things for the past like nearly 20 years of your life would drive me fucking crazy. He fixed them, dude. He made the best possible Dragon's Dogma you could make, and he made the best possible Devil May Cry 5 you can make. If anything, the guy deserves more respect than anybody in Capcom fucking history. He really does. Let him do whatever the hell he wants. And I have news for anybody that is shocked that games aren't made by one person. That there's co-directors and a lot of other people that made Devil May Cry 5 super fucking cool. Those people will likely be making Devil May Cry 6 and looking for an opportunity to become the next Itsuno, and probably will execute in ways and do shit that enabled Itsuno to do the stuff that he does. So I am not super worried about that shit. I think they're gonna be just fucking fine. Itsuno saw DMC5 as the end of the Sons of Sparta saga. There you fucking go. He literally ended it, man. Granted, it ends on a cliffhanger, but still, I have no doubt in my mind that DMC6 will be fucking dope, because it's definitely happening. Devil May Cry 5 sold way too much. It's happening, dude. I think he wants to go on and do something probably smaller, and probably an idea that he's had for a long time, and he just hasn't been able to do it because you can't do that at Capcom. Like, Capcom's on a different like level right now. He probably wanted to do something like a Kunitsugami. He probably wanted to be like, hey, give me the budget and size of a Path of the Goddess. And they're like, no, 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 but you gotta do Devil May Cry 6, bro. Like, you gotta do it. I'd imagine he's like, no, I'm just gonna go do some other stuff, you know? Probably just gonna go peace out and do some other stuff. You heard he went to Square Enix? That would be crazy. If Itsuno did go to Square Enix, so you're confusing, Itsuno isn't the combat designer of Devil May Cry, chat. People look at Dante like pulling out, you know, dual-bladed motorbikes, and they're like, Itsuno literally made this. Like that was a lot of other people, and other people that worked on that stuff did go to make Final Fantasy 16 as well. But it would be very interesting if he did get poached effectively by Square, because at that point, Square poached the Final Fantasy 7 remake battle director, Teruki Endo, who made the combat for fucking Monster Hunter World. Right after Monster Hunter World came out, and I think he was done with World and Iceborne, Square Enix managed to snatch the combat designer of Monster Hunter World, and guess what he came up with? In the late 2010s, the combat of FF7 Rebirth. I'm sorry, of FF7 Remake and Rebirth. Like, holy shit. So yeah, that was a good one. And then FF16, there was a different developer. No, this is a different person, chat. There was an FF16 dev that I talked to on stage. He was the one that was an ex-Devil May Cry combat designer, Suzuki-san. Yeah. He worked on Devil May Cry. Let me tell you, Monster Hunter and Devil May Cry are made by two entirely different studios in Capcom. Also, Final Fantasy 16 and FF7 Rebirth, made by two entirely different studios. There's almost no working relationship between any of those people. They're in different fucking buildings. Yeah, it was clear that Square needed help with that shit. I think it shows, because the best part of Final Fantasy 16 is its combat. It's not its enemy design. I know it's not. Definitely not in its most of the enemy encounters. The combat itself is amazing. You think Capcom will go the remake route with DMC or a whole new game? I don't know, man. I hope that they're in a transitional period between Itsuno leaving and stuff and whatever, and maybe they would want to remake DMC 1. God damn, that would be so sick. I want Devil May Cry with the vibes of DMC 1. I really do. But I don't know if that's happening. You want a fixed camera DMC 1? No, not at all. Fixed camera doesn't make DMC 1 good, specifically. I mean, to be completely honest, even a lot of Devil May Cry 4 and 5 have those elements in there still. Like when you're going through buildings and shit, it isn't always just like third person right behind your shoulder. No. It does these weird angles and shit. That stuff is sort of kept there. But what if they remake DMC as a Souls-light? I'll shit a cactus. If they made Devil May Cry into a Souls game, I would shit a cactus. I'd just go through the process, dude. We deserve this. That would be such a fucking bummer. Here's the thing, I don't think Capcom will do that. Capcom's too much pompous bitches. They're too much artistic integrity. I don't think they're doing that yet.